we should be live. Let's double check that we are actually live. Welcome back to another live streaming lesson, and thanks for tuning in if you're tuning in or if you're watching the replay of this live streaming lesson. Tonight's live streaming lesson is about electric guitar, R&B and neo soul electric guitar. It's been a while since my last electric guitar live streaming, especially about R&B and neo soul, so I wanted to talk about a few things in particular. The title of this live streaming is Hammer-on Chords. So we're gonna go through a must of R&B and neo soul, which is how to play the embellishments, so the hammer-ons and the pull-offs when you play this style. Let's see if yes, everything seems to work fine. I just double checked as usual. So we're ready to start, I think. So I was just noodling around a few chords. I know that I'm slightly late, you know, compared to the time that I put on this live streaming, but you know, I was testing a few things and usual issues with the audio settings of a live streaming like this. But now everything should be fine, so hopefully you're gonna enjoy, guys, this live streaming. And as always, if you want to support this channel and you enjoy the live streaming that you're watching, make sure to hit the like button, okay? You can hit the like button to show your support. That is much appreciated. And yeah, so I was saying that, you know, I was playing this chord, then this, and this, okay? I was playing 3 chords. Okay, let's name these chords so that we are all on the same page and we can all follow what we're gonna introduce tonight. Okay, so one chord is the D-7, another chord is the E-7, and then the A-7. I was already playing a few hammer-ons like this, for instance, okay? Hang on, it says on my device that there is something that went wrong with this live streaming. Hopefully, guys, you can still see me. Let me know if you can still see me, and if the connection is good. I mean, if there is a good quality of audio and video. If you guys struggle hearing me or seeing me, just let me know in the comments. That would be really helpful, so we can figure out if the quality of this live streaming is alright. Everything seems alright on my end now, so yeah, just let me know, guys, if you're struggling. Anyway, so I was already playing, you know, a few embellishments and things like that on these chords. That's what we're gonna talk about tonight. We're gonna talk about how to really play the hammer-ons and the pull-offs when you play chords. So we're not going through lead guitar. We're not gonna talk about licks and riffs. We are literally gonna talk about chords. So rhythm in the neo soul and R&B style. Okay, so first of all, we need to define which chords we are playing, and we need to define what's the name of these chords, what's the degree that they represent in the key that we are in. Okay, so even though I'm playing a D-7, E-7, A-7, like that, or maybe I can play different embellishment like that, I'm really in the key of A minor. So the A minor, the final chord that I played, is the actual root of this key, the tonic. Okay, the tonic is the first degree of a key. Also, one more reminder, guys, and then we finally get started. Just double check when you watch this live streaming, especially if you're watching it on your mobile device, that you select 1080p, which is the HD quality. That is particularly important because of the video and audio quality. You can also hear much better what is going on my guitar, and you can follow the lesson even better. So yeah, just something that you can quickly check in the settings of your YouTube app if you are watching from your mobile, or you can do the same even from desktop. That's exactly the same. Anyway, so let's get back into what we were saying about these chords. So D-7, E-7 and A-7 are chords that belong to the key of A minor. We say that this chord progression, this particular chord progression, is a 4 minor, 5 minor, 1 minor, like that. Okay, so let's explain why. We are in the key of A minor, so you find D and E as your 4 and 5. In fact, we could go through the A natural minor scale and find out that we've got A, B, C, D as a 4th degree, E as your 5th degree. And we do know that in a minor key, the 4 and the 5 are going to be minor chords, -7 chords. So D -7, E -7. And obviously A is the 1, and it's gonna be another minor chord because we are in a minor key. So these 3 chords are 3 minor 7th chords. They all belong to the key of A minor. 4, 5, 1, like that, okay? Now, when we play all of these chords and all of the other chords that I'll be showing you tonight, we can actually add embellishments typical of RnB and neo soul playing using hammer-ons and pull-offs. So it's where you see a lot of, you know, pinky going on, a lot of embellishments like this. Okay, we're gonna explain how we do them, why we do them, and where. Okay, on which chords we're gonna do them. Okay, let's say something about this. Just to get started, let's start looking at this A -7 1st degree. A couple of things that we might want to do to get started are basically this hammer-on here, you know, with a pinky on fret number 7, doing a hammer-on to the 9th of this chord, okay, which you can do either thinking about your full chord, A -7, and then using your pinky here to play something like this, or instead you can play any other voicing of the A -7 like this, and then you stretch your pinky to get the 9th, but you don't get the hammer-on if you do that. Or you can just focus on the bottom 4 strings like this. Okay, play only the bottom 4 of this position and do this kind of hammer-on. Okay, you can play hammer-on only, which is what I'm doing now. You can play hammer-on and pull off, da, 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 which you can do either with your ring finger or with your pinky. Why not? And then if you like it, you can even continue this into an actual scale, an actual melody, an actual phrase. The way you can do it is thinking about, because we are in the key of A minor, we could continue with the A minor pentatonic scale. Okay, so if I'm playing the bottom 4 strings of my A -7 and I'm doing this, hammer on or hammer on pull off, I can then continue with either hammer-ons or pull-offs, you know, doing, for instance, notes of the scale, or just picking them all like that. But it's a little bit too heavy to me, so I feel like it sounds so much better if I do the hammer-on, pull-off, and then I play the next notes of the scale, pulling them off to hear the notes behind with a bar. So basically like that. So when you do that, you can be clean and just hear the sounds of the single notes, which means like that at any tempo you're comfortable with. Or you can play a quick strum, an upstroke here, okay, which is also very funky, very James Brown sound. Okay, especially if you then play a quick run like this one. It sounds really good, and it sounds really good when you do that on a chord, so it's not necessarily something that you play just on scales, okay, like that, or like that if you play the pull-offs. It's something that sounds good when you play chords, okay, like that. Okay, so let's recap again. We are on the 1st degree of A minor. We're playing the bottom 4 strings, adding the 9th, so doing either this or a hammer-on pull-off, but we then go with a run based on the A minor pentatonic, which is obviously the scale that you can play in the key of A minor, which is the key where we are. So we are in the key of A minor, playing the 1st degree and playing this run. Okay, if we like it, we're gonna use this run later on, but now I want to show you how you can play similar things on the other chords that we mentioned. So on D -7 first and D -7, okay. So we said D -7 is the 4th minor, E -7 is the 5th minor in the key of A minor. What happens is, the best thing you can do, guys, is actually using your pinky to play more hammer-ons. Okay, I just want to briefly mention that I do have on this channel an entire series of videos called RnB Neo Soul Acoustic Guitar. Okay, so these videos are based on this genre, which is Neo Soul guitar, RnB, but the specific series that I'm talking about, it's all played with acoustic guitar. So if you guys are into this style and also want to play acoustic guitar when you play this style, you might want to check out those videos if you haven't yet. I've left a link in the description below where you can find the entire, playlist with all of the 10 videos. And the episode 4, so if you particularly go to the episode 4, the episode 4 is entirely on this topic: how to technically develop your pinky strength, okay, in order to play the hammer-ons and the pull-offs like the ones that we're playing, okay, when we play RnB and Neo Soul. So it's entirely on that. There are exercises about it, and there are examples on actual chords and an entire chord progression that you can practice, okay? So if you haven't done it yet, check out that playlist with all of the 10 episodes of this RnB and Neo Soul acoustic guitar series. And if you check out the episode 4, you'll find exercises for these hammer-ons and pull-offs, which are so common in this style. So you might want to do that if you haven't yet. But today we're gonna do something similar on the electric guitar. So we're gonna start, with that A minor first, doing this hammer-on, little strum, and then, a series of pull-offs. For instance, now I'm playing 3 strings of pull-offs, so like that. Pull-offs, guys, means that you play one note, take the finger off, pull the finger off, and hear the sound of the note behind it, like that. So like this, okay? This is, for example, on the A-7. What about the D-7? On the D-7, one thing that you guys can do is using your pinky and playing a double hammer-on the B string first, fret number 8, and on the first string, again, fret number 8. So doing this kind of thing. Once more, when you use your pinky, it's up to you whether you want to play just a hammer-on, like that, where the melody goes na 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 na, like that, or whether you want to do, for instance, a hammer-on pull-off, na 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 na. Okay, you can clearly do that on the B string as well as the E string. Okay, only hammer-on the E string, only actually hammer-on and pull-off, like that. And you can create as many melodies as you like with these embellishments while you strum the D-7 or while you play an arpeggio of D-7, which means that you're playing the notes, the single string, separately. Okay, hopefully this makes sense. Let me know, guys, if all I'm saying about these hammer-ons and pull-offs makes sense. If you want to see specific chords where I can show you what type of embellishments you can play, just let me know them in the comments and I'll get back to you. What I'd like to do in this lesson is showing you a few examples that hopefully you can practice with me either during this live streaming or after this live streaming. But I would like to also reply to your questions. So if you guys have any questions about RnB and Neo Soul guitar, I'll get back to you, or even about the music theory of these chords, because I'm gonna name them mainly using the Nashville number system, so using the chord numbers, okay, in the key of A minor. That's why I said the 4 minor and the 5 minor when I mentioned D-7 and E-7. Okay, that being said, this type of double hammer-on that we can play, or hammer-on pull-off on the B string and E string with our pinky, we can actually play it even on the E-7, 2 frets forward, 5 minor. So, like that. You can play again only hammer-ons. You can play hammer-ons and pull-offs, or you can play a mix of them. Okay, playing even more of them, that's entirely up to you. So it's really up to you what kind of melody you want to define with these hammer-ons. It's like playing these single notes, but you do that while you play the chords, which is one of the very, very common ways of playing that in this style. Okay, right, so sometimes you can do different types of embellishments, so different types of hammer-ons, and if you like even pull-offs, without involving the pinky. I know this is less common, but it does happen. And for instance, you can do that on the D-7, 4 minor, with your second finger. Like, what about playing an arpeggio that does, instead of going like, so at adding the pinky as a hammer-on, instead of doing that, what about doing this, where it's the second finger, which is part of the chord, it's the minor third of the chord, the D-7, which plays a hammer-on pull-off with the rest of the chord, with the bar really, and you're gonna hear this color, which is the 9th of the chord. So this becomes a D-9 when you do that. Okay, which is very nice. It sounds very similar in terms of colors to what we were doing on the A-7 here. Okay. Okay, and then you can combine them however you like them. Now, can you do the same thing on the E-7? The answer is no. So although the shape is absolutely the same, D-7 and E-7, because of the role that they have in this key, you can't really play the same type of hammer-on with the second finger. Let's explain why. Because the D-7, which is the Dorian chord, it's the 4 minor in the key of A minor, is going to give you this color that we mentioned, the 9th of the chord, which is the major 9th degree in the E minor when you play this hammer-on. If you do the same on the E-7, this is going to be out of key. It's not in the key of A minor anymore, because the note that you get here, which is F sharp, the major 9th degree in E minor, to get this E minor 9, doesn't actually belong to the key of A minor, because in the key of A minor you've got the note F, which is the minor 6th degree, but you don't have the note F sharp, which is the major 6th degree. Okay, so you can only do this hammer-on between the major 9th and the minor 3rd of the chord here on D-7, 4 minor. You can't do it on E-7. Nope. Instead of doing that, we more likely use the pinky only when we do the 5 minor, when we do the E-7. Like that. So this is fine. And obviously you can also play, but this is not okay. Instead of doing that, we'll be doing this. Okay, that's what I'm trying to define. What's the difference between these two chords? Okay, but that being said, you can play all sorts of hammer-ons, you know, with these two fingers. You can create nice melodies and obviously continue going up. So what else can you play when you go up? Well, I want to show you this triad here. Such a simple triad. You guys should know that this is a C major triad made by the note C, E, G. The simplest triad you can learn on guitar. Maybe you've already played this shape as an F if you are more beginners, or if you play acoustic guitar as well. Right, so this shape that you might know as a F already, or maybe not, you can actually move it wherever you like it on the fretboard. So F, G, A, whatever. In the key of A minor, you do have the chord C major. Now, why is that? One simple answer to this is that if you think about music theory, A minor is the relative minor of C major. So clearly, the C major chord is a chord that you find in the key of A minor. It's the flat 3 major, if you want to know the actual name with the Roman numerals. But however you want to call it, the C major does belong to the key of A minor. Think about this C major, you know, doing these things with the A minor pentatonic, or seeing this inversion. Very Hendrix style, you know, RnB, and the way Jimmy was playing with these triads, embellishments, double stops on the pentatonic scale is really very similar. It's very common. It comes from a common root, really. So yeah, we can play this C major triad, okay? But I want you to look at this C major triad from two different perspectives, both very interesting, okay? So let's look at the first one. You can obviously think of this C major, the full C major bar chord, okay, full chord like that, and say, well, I can actually just have a look at these 3 notes, which are obviously the triad within this full position. And once you get this, you can play all sorts of embellishments with your pinky, like that. So when you do that, you are hammering on the 6th on the B string, fret number 10, or hammering on the major 9th, fret number 10 of the E string this time, the 1st string. Now, if you do that, this is cool. You can do one of them, or you can do both with hammer-ons and pull-offs. That's completely up to you, like we said here already. You know, you can even play them all in a row, like. slide, if you like, even more on this E on fret 12. So you can combine them however you like them. We're gonna see a few ways of combining them. But yeah, this is the C major triad. Now, why did I say that you can have two different points of view, two different perspectives on this C major? Because yes, you can look at it as a C major bar chord, but you can actually look at this triad, especially when you play this embellishment. Okay, hopefully guys you can see on which fret I'm playing. Anyway, I'm playing fret number 10 on the B string with my pinky, and this becomes a C6 because I'm hammering on the 6. You can see this with an F on the bass. So if you had the chance to place an F on the bass, maybe with a bar, you would get an F major 7, which again is another fantastic chord in the key of A minor. So A minor, you can play D minor 7, you can play E minor 7, and a beautiful F major 7, okay, which is the Legion chord. In the A minor key, the flat 6 major 7. This is the chord. Okay, I do guys have a video on chord number system. If you haven't watched it yet, maybe the YouTube algorithm will provide some support and show you as a recommended video on the right hand side this video, but if it doesn't, you can search for it on my channel. Or maybe I actually left a link in the description, I can't remember right now. That would be quite of an important chord to really understand why I'm calling these chords. A very important video, I mean, to understand why I call these chords with these numbers, okay? That would really help you. But anyway, this is the way you call the F major 7 in the key of A minor. Flat 6, because it's the minor 6th degree, major 7, because it's a major 7 chord. If you instead like to number the chords in the relative major key, which would be C major, F major is just the 4th degree major 7, okay? C major is 1, F is the 4 major 7. That's fine as well, that's fine with me, whatever you feel more comfortable with. I do recommend to look at the chord numbers from both points of view, both from a minor and major, but anyway, however you feel more comfortable, that's absolutely cool. What really matters is that when we play this embellishment, we can think of two different chords. We can either think of a C major, and this is obviously the triad that you see, okay, C and then C6, or you can think of F major 7, which still has inside the same triad when you play this embellishment hammer-on between F major 9 and F major 7. Da, da, G to A, major 2nd in F, which goes to major 3rd, da, da, ba, da. Okay, that's what I mean. So you can play da, 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 you can play the da, 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 double embellishment that we were talking about, even if you consider the chord underneath an F major 7, something like that. Okay, so far we have quite of a decent run, I think, because we can go from the 1 to the 4 minor to the 5 minor, either F major 7 or just C major. Plays how many embellishments you like here, and if you like, even extend this to the note E, where, for instance, you can play this kind of shape, which is what? A D minor 7, so the same chord that we already played here, but this time it's extended to the 9th here. So you can think of this shape, full shape of the D minor 7, like the A minor 7 that we were playing before. I'm just moving the same one. And because we said in A minor 7 we could play this, even as a D minor 7 we can play this. Why not? You know, that's exactly the same thing really. Okay. So if you do that, you can focus on the bottom 4 strings and play a hammer-on. Okay. You can play a hammer-on and a pull-off. If you like to play da-da-da, especially if you come from why not? Or you can play the same thing we said on the A minor 7, a run based on the pentatonic, or just a couple of strings. Okay, maybe the second string could be just a pull-off or hammer-on pull-off. Okay, stuff like that. So far we've got A minor 7, however you want to play it, D minor 7, E minor 7, the C triad maybe as an F major 7, extend it here, play your D minor 7 as part of this, okay, and then if you like it, why not? You can play an A minor 7 again, okay, the A minor 7 that we started from, but you can play it this time with the root on fret 12 and get this position. Now, once you get this position, you can play all embellishments you like, basically like what we said about the D minor 7 here. You can do the same kind of thing on the A minor 7 here and do all sort of things that you played or you like to play there, okay, including removing the root, focusing only on the bottom 4 strings, okay, instead of doing this, focusing only on the bottom 4, taking this ring finger off, and instead of looking at this, you look at this, which becomes an A minor 11, because you're now including the note D, which is the 11th, and you get this chord. So often what happens is that, especially in neo soul, R&B guitar, also in jazz guitar, you often focus on the bottom 4 strings of your instrument, right? So instead of looking at chords in the more traditional way, with the root always being the notes that you play on the bass, when you play only the bottom 4 strings, the note that you play on the bass could be a different kind of degree. And if you're not familiar with where they come from, they just look like chords that, you know, they don't mean anything. This is a C triad with a D on the bass, but effectively you don't think of it as a C triad with a D on the bass. You think of it as an A minor 11, okay? A minor 11 where the A, so the root, is not played, okay? It's there, but it's not played, okay? This works really well if, for instance, somebody else in the band or in the song that you're playing plays that A on the bass, and you don't need to repeat that, and you just focus on something really cool like playing the bottom 4 strings like that, especially with a slide. And then whenever you like it, guys, you can use your pinky as always and get all of your embellishments, the hammer-ons, the pull-offs, all that sort of stuff. Okay, guys, once more I want to remind you that if you enjoy this live streaming, best way to support these lessons is leaving a like on this channel, on this video in particular, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet, because this helps me reaching out to more people that might be interested in these lessons. So that's a big support that you give me. If you want to support even more, you can check out in the link in the description below. There is a link to my Patreon page. My Patreon page, I usually upload all of the tabs and music notation for the examples that you see on my videos. So if you guys like one of my R&B and neo soul videos and you want to see the tab for the licks that I play, for the riffs that I play, they're all uploaded on my Patreon page. You also get early access to my videos and a few other things as rewards, okay, for being a patron basically. And one of the things that you will find is the chance to send me a video of your playing, and I can give you a feedback on what you play. So that's something which is available on my Patreon page, and you might want to check it out. If you want to become a patron, that's fantastic, and thank you very much for that. Or if you want to keep watching these lessons, if you want me to keep bringing to you these lessons both on the channels as videos or even live, make sure to like this video. That's the best support that you can show me, okay? And obviously, if you have any questions, guys, while I talk about these things, feel free to leave a comment, and I can answer your questions while I'm still live, or otherwise, if you are watching the replay, you can leave a question in the comments below and I'll get back to you, of course. Okay, so these embellishments are all embellishments that you can play when you play these chords, and they can become really interesting in the chord progressions that you play, especially because of the feel that you use when you play them, like, you know, this slide that I was talking about, like this one, and then playing more hammer-ons even here. So if I'm playing the bottom 4 strings here, I can obviously play a D here, which is the same note as this, or a G here, which is a minor 7th of this A minor 7. And although the chord is the same as this when I play A minor 7, when you get the A minor 7 here and you focus on the bottom 4 strings to get things like that, you get a slightly different color and vibe, I guess, from what you get here. okay? But both are really interesting, and you can alternate them both, okay? Like, or maybe here, and then slightly, okay, and then continue. Like, there are so many more that you can play. One thing that I really like to play from time to time is the use of diminished seventh chords. Now, I'm not gonna go too much into details about these diminished seventh chords tonight, but if it's a topic that you guys would like me to talk about, then let me know that in the comments, because I might do an entire live streaming lesson about diminished seventh chord. One thing that I like to play with them is, let's say again we start from our A minor, then D minor 7, E minor 7, F major 7. Then when we do our run of, you can play all of these, you know, diminished seventh chords, which then eventually will lead you back to A minor 7. You can use one of them, two of them, as many as you like, still with this kind of slide. So the way we look at them, let's say that we are playing our C. This could be a good way to attach it to what we're playing. So again, I played my C with embellishments. I slide it to this note to play the D minor 7. And then from here, rather than playing other embellishments on the D minor 7, I actually extended this note from E to F, okay, to get the minor third of the chord, okay, which is also part of the D minor pentatonic. And then I use this as a common note on top to play a diminished seventh chord. Now, when I look at this diminished seventh chord, I already know that this diminished seventh chord will be part of an E7, which is a very important chord that I'm heading to. Now, why is that? Because you can move diminished seventh chords by 3 frets and reach, for instance, this, which is, I guess, the easiest way of seeing that. If you play an E on the bass, maybe here, you get an E7 flat 9. E7 flat 9 was my go-to chord to create the secondary dominant, the tension, the 5-7 all-thread, you know, to get back to my A minor, which is the 1 minor. So 5-1 minor. Now, when I do this 5-1 minor, especially in jazz and R&B, you often don't even play the root of that 5, so the E, and you only play from the major third of that chord. And what you get, if it's a flat 9, dominant 7 flat 9 chord, what you get is a diminished 7th chord, okay? So when I look at this G sharp diminished 7th, I think of it with an E on the bass as an E7, flat 9, played as a G sharp diminished 7th with an E on the bass, okay? So I look at this G sharp and I think this is the major third of the chord that I'm playing here, okay? Now, because you can move, you know, by 3 frets symmetrically these chords, I already know that this G sharp can move to B and this B can move to D, and you are basically playing the same chord, okay? So in our chord progression, you can do this, or you can do this kind of tension, which you play all with diminished 7th chord. Stuff like that, okay, so yeah, F major 7, why not? Then okay, like a 5 minor, like an ending of a 5-1 minor, really. Okay, guys, so hopefully this all makes sense. Let me know, guys, again, if you have more questions. I think for tonight, that's a wrap up. That's all for what I wanted to show you about these hammer-on chords. Again, you can get more resources in the description below, where you find more videos on hammer-ons, on these chords, hammer-ons in R&B guitar. Okay, there is an entire series about it. Okay, So if you guys want me to talk about diminished seventh chords in one of the next live streaming, let me know. I might do one of my next lessons about that. I hope you enjoyed this live streaming, and thanks for tuning in or for watching the replay, and enjoy your weekend, and I'll see you very, very soon.